and most importantly, who originated from our party UDA. This campaign is going to the National Women Caucus Conference that will be happening on 22nd at the Bomas of Kenya, where President William Ruto will be the chief guest. This campaign also is helping us to celebrate Ruto 1 year in office. It is an opportunity for government officials to document, to tell Kenyans what have they achieved in the last year. That our president, also the party leader of UDA, pleasure as a party to be here. We know William Ruto was not elected on Kenya Kwanza ticket. He was elected on the UDA party ticket. So as a party, we have the biggest burden to showcase to Kenyans what have we done, or what has our candidate done for the last 1 year. So we bring greetings from our Secretary General, Senator Cleophas Malala, our chairperson, Governor Cecil, of course our Vice Chair, Senator Omar Hassan, and the entire leadership, including our Deputy Party Leader, Riliji himself, and of course, President William Ruto. So we hope to have an engaging conversation. These are series that will be ongoing as we showcase government achievements. Leaders like you, top achievers like you, these interviews are going to inspire many other young girls across the nation that actually women can sit in higher offices, make decisions, and help our nation move forward.
Thank you.
So we are really excited to be here. We hope to have a very fruitful discussion. We know you handle a very important docket in the Ministry of Interior and also the country. So as a party, we are very proud of you and we hope to have a very engaging session.
Thank you.
So as a start, we would just want to know or to ask you to briefly describe who is PS Salome Wairimu. Of course, there is an AKA there, Beacco. So we'll be really interested to know how that was arrived at.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much. I'm very, very pleased to be part of this interview, this process of developing the UDA party, and with particular emphasis to growing the segment of the women, of the women segment. I'm very happy about that. So my names are Salome Wairimu Mohia Beacco. Beacco being my partner at home, my spouse. I am a daughter of God. I am a consummate professional. My background is law. I have been a legal practitioner for the last 25 years, 7 of which I was in the corporate sector, and the remaining years, or 18 years, I was in private practice, running my own law firm with a partner, Wanyonyi and Mohia Advocates, where I worked in various legal aspects, various legal dockets, and thereafter I joined the UDA party, and I was very humbled and privileged when His Excellency the President chose me to be a member of the National Elections Board of the UDA party. I'm a patriot. Very importantly, I'm a patriot. I am a Kenyan, and I'm very convinced that Kenya is our business. It is our responsibility to develop Kenya, nobody else's responsibility. And in that regard, I am a dedicated, consummate professional who has resolve, focus, and commitment to playing my role in this generation to leave a legacy of greatness. I have an LLB in law from the University of Nairobi, also an LLM in leadership and governance from the same university, the esteemed university, and I am also a chartered insurance. I have attended several courses on leadership and governance because I'm very passionate in leading people to achieve greatness for posterity and for the greater good of our nation. Thank you.
Good. Quite elaborate. Now, you serve as the PS for Correctional Services. In brief, what does your department deal with?
So my department is a state department within the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination. and it is a security docket comprising 2 technical units. That is the Kenya Prison Service and Probation and Aftercare Service. And the 2 are governed from headquarters where I sit. That is the General Administration and Planning Service. We give support to the 2 technical units. Our primary purpose is to provide to guide offenders, to provide a safe and secure environment for our nation by way of managing offenders. By managing offenders, by containment of the offenders, by supervision, by rehabilitation and reformation and reintegration, as well as facilitating administration of justice, access to administration of justice, also treatment of young offenders, to reform them, to rehabilitate them. We have many prisons. We have 135 prisons in Kenya, all spread out throughout the 47 counties. We have 135 probation offices. We have 3 Boston institutions. We also have hostels, young offenders hostels, and in all those hostels, we do all those things that are geared towards containment, supervision, rehabilitation, reformation, and reintegration of offenders.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. We noticed the other day that this administration started the process of decongesting prisons as a department. Would you say that has been one of the biggest challenges our prisons have been facing?
Yes, indeed. Most of our prison wards were constructed at independence, and the envisaged population was correspondingly and quite low. And now, with the increasing population and increasing levels of crime, we have a lot of congestion. We have a lot of congestion. In fact, in some prison, we have double the established number of offenders in prisons, particularly those in remand. And one of the key contributing factor is the number of arrests. Whereas the judiciary will try and offload, because we have community service orders. We even have a chair of the community service orders who happens to be a judge. The rate of incarceration or arrests is significantly higher than the rate at which we are able to offload them and release them. Also, the process of administration of justice, the criminal justice system, sometimes tends to be slow, and therefore it is very difficult to release or acquit offenders as it may be, or to make decisions as to where they belong faster than they are being brought in. So yes, congestion is a big problem for us. Yes.
Now, 1 year since President Ruto took over government, and of course, establishment of government ministries and departments. What is your biggest achievement?
Okay. I would like to clarify that, first of all, I have been in office for 2 months. I've just finished my 2nd month.
Yes.
And first of all, I want to thank His Excellency for appointing me. I feel very, very privileged, because I was part of the process of the creation of the manifesto, the proclamation of the manifesto, the development of that manifesto, and I am very conversant with the plan. For starters, I'm very convinced that yes, we shall execute this plan, and we have already begun the process of executing the plan. My role in this has been that in the last 2 months, one of the clarion call of the President was to require all of us accounting officers, that is PSs, to get out of our desks, of our mahogany desks, and go to the ground and see what is going on the ground, so that we are implementers of the plan. And in these 2 months, I have managed to visit 30 prisoners and Boston institutions, over 7 probation offices all around the country: Kisumu, Mombasa, Kiambu, Kakamega. I have managed to visit all those, and I have rolled out programs to visit many, many more in Isiolo, in Nyeri, in Nanyuki, everywhere. My intention is to have a feel of what is going on in all those stations. I have also managed to meet all the heads of stations of the prisons. Like I have alluded to, we have 135 prisons, so I have managed to meet all the heads of the officers in charge of all the prisons, all the regional commanders, all the heads of the probation offices, as well as the regional directors of those offices, and articulated the UDA Kenya Kwanza manifesto, articulated my vision and mission, articulated the mission and vision of the state departments, so that we are all aligned in implementing the manifesto, in implementing the plan. And I must concede that I'm very pleased and happy to say that we are all aligned. We have now embarked with commitment, great commitment and resoluteness to implementing the plan. That is, improving our facilities, because many of our facilities were constructed many years ago, over 60 years ago. Improvement of the facility, improvement of the welfare of the staff, improving the mechanized farming. We have many farms, so we need to plug into the food security in agriculture. We are determined to plug it in. We are aligned. Some of our senior staff directors sit in the committees that are implementing the presidential directive of having mechanized farming. They sit in those departments. We have plugged into the manufacturing sector. As you're aware, we have 130 industries in across the 135 prisons that we have, and one of the mandate we have is to plug into the manufacturing and SMEs. We are worked in the program of equipping and upgrading our industries, because in those industries we have construction, we have masonry, we have carpentry, we have welding, we have tailoring. We tailor our own uniform, both the prison uniform and the prison staff uniform. We tailor those. We also produce our own sweaters. We also have leather works. We have plugged into the leather value chain, and we are looking forward to revamping our tannery so that we can resume production of shoes, both for the inmates, the staff, and everybody else. So we are plugging into all those. And in our industries, we are also doing vocational training for the inmates in terms of the digital superhighway. We have computers, and we are upgrading. We're in the process of upgrading, and we are working in the one government approach to implementing the plan. I am working very closely with my colleague PSs, especially in the TVET, in the livestock industry, to see how we can collaborate and help one another to improve the facilities in the prison sector. Yes.
Elaborate. Quite elaborate.
Yes.
Now, Madam PS, there has been this big conversation, and the party leader, who is also the head of state, actually there was a time we was roped into this conversation that we have prisons that are stationed sitting on prime development areas in major towns. For instance, when you go to Kakamega, the prison sits at the core of the town, hampering development as a department. Are there plans probably that you're working on progressively to ensure that probably these facilities are moved to spaces that are secure, and so that they open up those areas?
I want to first state that we follow the presidential directives.
Yes.
In some instances, the president has given us direction what to do with some of those prisons. And we have followed. We have actually, we are in the process of implementing the presidential directives regarding some of the prison facilities. Where the other prison facilities are, we will await the presidential directives, because some of those prisons, out of security, they are located near the police stations. They are also located near the judiciary, so that there is easy access to justice. when the judiciary directs that a prisoner be produced, it is not a security challenge for us to produce that offender, that inmate. They are near the police station because our clients, as we call them, in the prison sector are actually offenders. They are, some of them are convicted criminals, so they are a real security threat. So there is a rationale. But as always, because we are adopting a one government approach with one leader, whatever direction the president gives us, we follow that direction. Yes, yes.
Now, before I hand over to Leila, there is this whole big question about the welfare of officers who manage prisons.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, the president mentioned the housing program.
Mm-hmm.
The housing program will focus more also
Mm-hmm.
on police officers building prisons and all that.
Mm-hmm.
As a department, what is your general position, or what are you doing to ensure that people who handle inmates,
Mm-hmm.
they have decent housing
Mm-hmm.
and also enjoy their lives like these other officers?
Thank you very much. Provision of affordable housing is one of the 5 pillars of the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto and the UDA Manifesto. As originally crafted, it is one of the key component of ensuring development, the bottom-up economic transformation. And we have already rolled out. As a State Department, we have worked in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing, the State Department of Housing, as well as the Ministry of Public Works. We have already identified sites where affordable housing will be constructed. Our mandate thus far, we have already done the blueprints, and we are actually now in the process of implementing the plan of getting PPPs, as well as using the levy, the housing levy that has now come into effect, to construct 28,000 affordable houses for our staff. We are aware there is a shortage. Reason being, the number of houses for our staff has not grown in tandem with the growth in the staff. We have a staff strength of about 34 to 35,000, and we are aware. But I want to assure everybody that we do have adequate land on which we can construct those houses. And now we are working very, very closely with the PS Housing as well as the Ministry of Public Works to start implementing. The plans are already there, the sites have already been identified, and the numbers per prison command have already been identified. We know we need to construct 28,000 houses, and we are on course. Yes, yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
Madam PS, you have mentioned that as a State Department, you are focusing on enhancing the financial sector as one of the programs that is measuring, or one of the programs is a correctional service to the inmates. I understand that recently the Kenya Prison Service made the best in an expo in Mombasa in the local manufacturers sector, that is non-consumable products that manufactured by the inmates. As a State Department, apart from enriching these inmates with skills, are there any economic benefits that they get from the sale of the products they manufacture? That is as a way of implementing the bottom-up economic agenda.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it is true that on many, many occasions, my State Department has won awards for manufacturing the best quality furniture. The best quality furniture. Indeed, many county governments have approached us, and they have placed orders for us to construct for them furniture, like the County Assembly of Bomet, the County Assembly of Turkana, the County Assembly of Moranga. We are the ones who manufactured the furniture for the National Assembly, and even their staff welfare furniture, we manufactured them. So it cannot be gainsaid that we produce the highest quality of furniture in Kenya, one of the highest quality of furniture in Kenya. And so we would like to encourage Kenyans to heed the President's clarion call of Buy Kenya to Build Kenya, so that we can improve our industry. The revenue we collect from the industry, from this manufacture, is revolved back to the fund. We have the Prison Industries Fund and the Prison Farm Fund. We have two funds. And what we produce, the revenue we collect, is plowed back to continue training the inmates so that they can acquire skills. And not only to train them, but also to pay for their NITA exams. They take trade tests. And many of them, when they are released out there, wherever they look for employment, whether it is in construction or elsewhere, they are required to have those trade test certificates. That money is utilized towards that end. In addition to that, we are reviewing our Prisons Act, that is Cap 90, as well as the Probation Act, which is Cap 93, with a view to incorporating the stipend. We used to have it, but now it was kind of phased up over the years, but now we are reviewing our laws so that we incorporate it, so that part of the revenue that we generate goes to the offenders, so that when they are released, they can have seed capital to start. Why is this? Because the President is very emphatic that we encourage our offenders to become entrepreneurs. So we are equipping them. But having said that, even right now, my office equips some of the offenders when they go out there by giving them the equipment. If you're a carpenter, we give you the plane or the equipment you need to carry small seed capital so that you're able to start. And we do this both through the Kenya Prison Service as well as the Probation and Aftercare Service. So it is a work that we have been doing. We want to scale it up, but we want to encourage Kenyans, come and buy our products. We have some of the best products, and not only furniture. We fabricate windows, we fabricate doors, we do a lot of metal works, we have leather works, we have trained masons, we have trained people in tailoring. Give us orders. We have workshops, tailoring workshops in all the 130 prisons. So we will encourage the Kenyans, come and support us. Let us build Kenya, so that you buy Kenya, so that you build Kenya. Why is that? Because we are Kenyans, and Kenya is our business. Only we can build Kenya. Thank you.
That's amazing. Madam Pierce, your State Department deals with, at times, clients like you have referred to them, that people that are confined in one place comes with a lot of mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the State Department recently rolled out a wellness program in its institutions across the country that is well equipped with counselors meant to tackle mental health issues amongst the staffs and the prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
What measures as a State Department have you put in place to ensure that this program is well implemented to achieve its intended purpose?
Thank you very much. First of all, as a State Department, because it is a security docket, we have very clear reporting structures. So the reporting structures commences with the Principal Secretary, and under myself there is the Commissioner General of Prisons, and collaterally there is a Secretary Probation and Aftercare, and under them there are directors, deputy directors, and officers at the very bottom. So there are clear reporting structures. So at the top, we have developed a training module for all our staff and inmates in terms of mental health care. Then that clear guideline and the training module is cascaded downwards to all the prisons, in the 135 prisons as well as the 135 probation offices and the Boston units, and as well as the hostels. And we have the prisons, the PSTC, Prison Staff Training College. A lot of our staffs have been put together in that college, and they have been trained, so that they also now train those under them and follow up that the training module on mental health care, which has been supported by the Center for Disease Control, as well as the HIV development partners, is implemented. We also work very closely with the Kenya Red Cross, as well as the International Committee of the Red Cross, which has really supported us. We are also now implementing the national guidelines on workplace mental wellness, which has been developed by the Ministry of Health. Continuously, the departments report upwards in terms of the level of implementation, the challenges they face, and what support they require. And both the Director of Probation as well as the Commissioner General now report to me, and we have regular meetings where we engage and collaborate and cooperate to see that the implementation is effective. In addition to that, we have very well trained chaplaincy. We have a chaplaincy department both for the Muslims, the SDA, the Protestant, and the Catholic. And these people are very well trained with both the most basic module of psychology, psychosocial training, and in psychology, so that not only do they give spiritual nourishment to our inmates and as well as our staff, but they are also continuously upgrading that training. And this is an office that is cascaded to every prison station.
You have mentioned that most of our prisons, or most of the prisons in the country, are congested. This brings us to the question that after reintegration, that is, after one has finished serving up their term, there are cases whereby these people reoffend. And what measures has the State Department put in place to ensure that there is reduced recidivism?
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, in some cases there is recidivism, there is reoffending. Why is that? Because every individual is a product of their background, where they have come from. Maybe many of them come from broken families, they have financial challenges, there is a lot of stigmatization, which is an issue that we are routinely facing. That we rehabilitate this offender, we reform this offender, we equip this offender with requisite skills, and in many cases, my office actually gives them the tools to go and restart life properly. However, the society does not give them the benefit of the doubt, does not give them a second chance. And I would encourage the community, give them a second chance. We are making great effort. Our prison staff are very well trained, and we have very strict structures as to how to reform and rehabilitate these offenders. So we would encourage the community to give them a second chance. We have scaled up, and we are continuously reviewing our methodologies in terms of rehabilitation and reformation of these offenders. Our probation and aftercare service is a very specialized unit that carries out social inquiries both to the community and of the offender and victims of the offense, so that we are able, in some cases, depending on the situation, to bring the parties together to reconcile, so that this offender is actually accepted back in society. And we have had many success stories. I have witnessed whereby an offender whom we rehabilitated became reformed and was reintegrated into society and became an entrepreneur. And currently he has a workshop that he has employed 5 people. In addition to that, we have success cases where we have alumni, so to speak, of the prisons who become reformed and go and set up NGOs and come back to visit the prisoners, to mentor them, to encourage them not to give up, and they actually support us a lot in terms of giving stuff that we require. In addition to that, my office is very determined to support them by way of giving them equipment. Sometimes we educate. My office educates some of the offenders to improve them. I will tell you, like, for example, we have some of the offenders are students at the university, and some of them are actually studying law. So some are studying medicine, some are studying accounts and computer. So I encourage the general public, give them a second chance. we as a State Department, we are doing our level best to rehabilitate and to reform these offenders. Again, our probation office also follows up those offenders. We follow them up through the probation orders and community service orders. We follow them up so that we see that what we are doing has impact and a positive impact at that.
Madam Pierce, there are some instances, there are also instances whereby pregnant women are sentenced and they end up giving birth in prison. Are there policies put in place to ensure that these mothers do not lose touch with their children? Also, are there special care like maternal health care or special cells for mothers serving in prison with their children?
Thank you very much. As articulated in both Article 1 and Article 53 of the Constitution, Article 53 provides that we must take care of the best interest of the child, and that under Article 43 they are also entitled to the basic necessities, basic standard and decent standard of healthcare, of shelter, of food, etc. And under Article 1, because we are members of the international community, we have domesticated some of the international instruments relating to treatment of mothers with children. In our case, these are called the Bangkok rules that inform the treatment of mothers with children. My State Department is the implementer of those rules, and we have put in place very stringent rules and regulations and policies to make sure that our children live as normal a life as possible. Under the Prisons Act, we are only allowed to keep children from the age of 0 to 4 years. So we have developed daycare units that are formulated in as normal setting as possible. In fact, in many of them, the entrance to those daycare centers are face away from the prison, so that these children grow up in as normal and in as a normal environment as possible. And those who have reached the school-going age of daycare or PP1, PP2, we allow them to go to normal schools. We do have schools. The prison staff have 135 schools. We have 135 schools that cater for our prison staff, and the children are allowed to go to those daycare centers so that they live a normal life. Also, we have trained caregivers for those children so that they are not stigmatized. We also allow their mothers to visit them continuously so that their bond remains. Our probation and aftercare service now takes care of the children that are in the community. We follow them up, the children. We follow them up. We ensure that they are living in a safe environment, and we prepare regular reports which we submit to the court for the court to make an informed decision regarding those mothers.
Madam Pierce, gender-based violence has been on the rise in the country. Are there specific programs to support women who have gone both physical and sexual abuse before and during conviction?
Yes, indeed, that is a very, very, very big problem. In fact, in some parts of the country, as high as 54% of the inmates are offenders in that sector. They are sexual offenders, and we adopt a two-pronged approach. Number one, we have acknowledged and realized that if you do not reform the offender, once they get out, they will reoffend. Invariably, they will reoffend. So we have put in place reform and rehabilitate the offenders themselves. And many of these offenders, we have done research to understand what informs their decision to offend in those areas. And we have realized there are very many cultural misunderstandings that inform their decision and their background as well. So one of the main things that we are doing is rehabilitate the offender. Because if you do not rehabilitate the offender, the women who are the victims of GBV will never live in peace. Even if they are released, they will never live in peace. What do we do to the women who maybe have committed crimes as a result of being sexually offended. We have programs both with the probation and aftercare, where we also rehabilitate these women. We have programs with our development partners to help them have their sentences reviewed. If they have been sentenced already, we prepare them to have appeals. We have partners who help us. We have paralegals who help us. Of course, the judiciary is helping us with the pro bono services provided by some of the lawyers. We are also members, and I sit in that committee, of the National Commission on Administration of Justice, where we table our concern, especially about those women who are victims of GBV and they are incarcerated. So, and that is a continuous program, and I am very happy to report that we are working very well with the judiciary, so that they are properly informed through our social inquiry reports that are prepared by our probation and aftercare service, so that they can make better decisions that take into account the circumstances surrounding the commission of the crimes by these women.
Madam Pierce, there are instances whereby underage children of juveniles have been sentenced. Is there a program whereby while they're serving their sentence, they go to school, and what happens when they reach the age of 18 years?
All right, so we have 3 Bostol institutions. We have Shimo Bostol, Shimo Latewa Bostol. We have Kamai Bostol, the YCTC at Kamiti, and we also have Shikusa in Kakamega. I have had the opportunity to visit all these 3 institutions. Again, in those institutions, we have formal education for all the children, as well as vocational training, so that these young offenders, whilst they are in those institutions, their lives also continue. We have tried our level best to ensure that they live as normal a life as possible. They continue with their schooling. The age of these young offenders is usually 15 to 18 years of age. So many of them are different levels depending on what is their preferred option. Many are under vocational training. They are training to be electricians, training in carpentry. Others are in the formal education, and I'm happy to report that we had some of the best performing candidates, especially in the Shikusa Bostol, that is in Kakamega. One of them had 401 marks. They have gone to the university. When they attain the age of 18 years old, we normally have what we call the visitors board. These postal institutions are run by boards, and these boards comprise members, highly respected members of the community, in addition to the prison staff, who are specially trained to handle the offenders in those institutions. And so we meet and decide who is eligible for release. But we also conduct, through the probation and aftercare service, we conduct social inquiries to see whether the home environment is conducive for them to be reintegrated. Because some of them, we have realized, or we know, come from very difficult backgrounds. Some of them come from single parent families that are exceedingly poor. They live in the slums, and sometimes it is advisable, and after we talk to the offender, they may prefer to remain in the Bostol institution if they are about to sit exams. For example, they're in Form 4 or Class 8, so that they sit the exams and then they are released thereafter. After being released, we by law, we are mandated to follow them up for at least the route of vocational training. We are also mandated to help them, and very often, because we have budgetary constraints, we work with development partners, and we are encouraging more Kenyans, come on board, help us help these young offenders, because they have reformed. If we could have everybody re-equipped so that they can continue with their lives, and we are happy to inform that some of our board members actually go out of their way to raise money from their pockets to help these students. They pay their school fees where we are not able to pay, to buy them equipment where we are not able to do that, and they try to bridge that gap. And we encourage more Kenyans, come on board. This is a way of giving back to society. It's a CSR program. And in that way, we ensure that there is no recidivism for the young offenders.
Yes, lately in the country, the truth that gender role conversation has gained a lot of momentum. What do you have to say about this? And also during the campaigns, the president promised that in his government there will be 50-50 government appointments of both men and women. Do you feel like the president has kept his promise?
I believe that the president has kept his promise, and I'm a living example of this. I am a person who grew up, I come from Kiambu County, but I grew up in a slum, Kawangware, and here I am. I believe I'm a consummate professional, and I believe that he has endeavored to keep his promise. And of course, this is a progressive promise. This is a work in progress. He's progressively implementing that. There are very many of us women as PSs in the National Elections Board. All the three women who sat in the National Elections Board are PSs. That gives credence to the faith that he has in us. It is one of the key that is going to be discussed in the National Dialogue Committee. There is great improvement in the number of CSs, women CSs that have been incorporated, and even where he encounters institutional and structural challenges, he's able to surmount those. And it can be seen in the number of women also sitting as chairs of boards and as members of parastatal boards and other government agencies. So yes, he is keeping his word.
Earlier on, Madam Pierce, you mentioned that you were a member of the National Elections Board at the UDA party, an organ that pulled off the most successful party primaries in the country that we have ever witnessed. What was your role in this, and what are the values that you put in place to ensure that these party primaries were a success?
First of all, a party is as strong as its leader, and a party is also as strong as its weakest link. And I must say that I learned a lesson in leadership from His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. In many facets, he's a consummate professional. He's a consummate team leader. He knows all of us by name, and he listens. He listens to divergent views. He is not a man who he's not a man who encourages a yes approach to solving solutions. And he was hands-on. As you have seen, he's always been hands-on. So he was a hands-on team leader. He was there for us. He listened to us. He gave us direction. He was readily available, and he cultivated loyalty and hard work. For sure, we can see he's one of the most hardworking people we have ever seen. And many of us play catch up in terms of working and implementing. And that played a very critical role in us executing our mandate to have very successful primaries. We planned very well. We went across the country to all the 47 counties. We met all the aspirants. We had a clear program of execution, and we executed it to a T. We had a good program of dispute resolutions. When disputes arose after the primaries were carried out, we speedily resolved those within the requisite timelines. We tried to negotiate where negotiation was appropriate. We did not use a one glove fits all approach. We used the approach of what fits a particular community, what fits a particular direction, and we brought people together. Our president brought all of us together and demanded of us. So demanded commitment, demanded loyalty, demanded dedication, demanded focus, demanded resolution, and he led from the front. And that way we were able to implement and come up with the most successful party primaries ever and compared to other parties.
The last question, Madam Pierce, before I pass it to Yusuf. At times there's this discussion that prisons are full of innocent people. In situations whereby maybe during their accusation period or when they were being accused, they were not able to argue their cases well, or they were not able to pay for lawyers to defend them. Is there a situation or a partnership between the State Department and the judiciary to relook into such cases?
Thank you very much. Again, using the one government approach to access to administration of justice, to access to justice as envisaged under Article 28 and Article 48 of the Constitution, we cooperate. I'll give a case in point. We have Kahawa law courts. Kahawa law courts are actually built on prison land. We donated that land so that we can have that court, so that we work with the judiciary to expedite cases effectively. Within that court, within the court precincts, we have the probation and aftercare, which prepares reports with regard to the offenders. These reports are submitted to the office of the deputy prosecutor, so that when they are prosecuting cases where offenders are concerned, they make very good presentations to the court. And these reports are also submitted to the judiciary. Using and adopting that multi-sectoral approach, we have scaled it up. Practically in every prison, there is a legal office, there is a human rights office, and in this human rights office, we work with partners, for example, justice defenders. And these justice defenders enable offenders or enable the accused persons, because we are all aware everyone is innocent until deemed or until convicted. And we work with these partners to enable the offenders know their rights, know how to defend themselves, and present their cases. Again, using the probation office, we prepare reports for sentence review, where we are very sure or we are uncertain about the commission of the offense. We do review. We do review reports, and we present them to the court, and we now encourage sentence reviews. Additionally, we have also reports to gauge the mental status of the offenders. As you're aware, we have a prison station at Mathari Maximum Prison, where the offenders who do not have we say corpus mentis, they were not in a proper frame of mind, they didn't have the actus reus or the mens rea, so to speak, the guilty mind to commit that offense, maybe because of their mental status. Then the hospital treats them and prepares reports that go back to the judiciary, to the court, so that their sentences can also be reviewed. And that is also a multi-sectoral approach that we adopt to make sure that everyone has access to justice. Yes.
Asante sana, Madam Pierce. Now, as we wrap up, probably two questions. Working at the NEC, at the election board, within UDA party, and of course working directly with the party leader, President William Ruto, would you say the president is one person who advocates as a champion of women leadership and provides a safe environment within the UDA party and even outside UDA so that women thrive in their careers?
Absolutely. And it can be manifested. Like I said, you will see the number of cabinet secretaries who are women, and they are not appointed because of their gender only. They are appointed because of their capabilities, their effectiveness, their efficiency. You have seen the number of PSs that have been appointed who are women. We have been appointed on the basis of our capability. We executed, for example, in NEB, very successful party primaries. We have all been rewarded. That is one thing I must commend the president. He keeps his word. And I would encourage the women, and you will see also the chairman of the UDA is a woman. The chairman of Council of Governors is a woman. the chairman of Kenya Power and Lightning is a woman, and there are very many other success stories. And we have been appointed on the platform of our effectiveness and efficiency. We are committed. He listens to us. He calls us individually. He asks us questions. He demands of us. He demands of us to be consummate professionals, to deliver the mandate, to deliver the plan, to help him implement the plan. And I do believe that all women have a space. Many of us came in as volunteers, and we showcased, and he promised that he will not let us down. And indeed, he created a safe environment. Very many of us women are actually nominated senators, nominated MCAs. We are also elected members of parliament in our party. In fact, in some region, all the women elected members are from UDA. That is a fact. And all of us, not only did he ensure that we won, and he monitored us and directed us and governed us and encouraged us to win, but even thereafter, he continuously meets us to reiterate the plan, to encourage us to implement that plan for the benefit of Kenya. Yeah, so we could say he's Kenya #1, and there is a space for women. And those women who have not gotten those opportunities, I encourage them, be patient, excel right where you are, and continue waiting, continue working hard for the betterment of this country. This is our country. Nobody else can build Kenya the way we can. Come to the party, be a member of the party, give of yourself. If you have given of yourself, wait patiently. There will be space. Sooner or later, like the way Daniel excelled himself and sat with kings, sooner or later, you as a woman, wherever you are, as you wait, continue working while you're waiting, one day you will be recognized. We also waited, and 2 months ago, I was recognized. Yes.
Now, we have an upcoming UDA Party National Women Congress. Of course, like I had mentioned earlier, that the head of state will be the chief guest. In your own opinion, from a party perspective, what other strategies or plans, probably from a party point of view, does UDA need to put in place just to encourage women to join the party and also seek elective positions as we move forward?
Number one, we need to go to the grassroots levels, like we have always done. We went to the grassroots levels, the ward level, then we came up to the constituency, to the county, and obviously to the national level. We have worked, especially through the SMEs docket, and the PS SMEs is very vibrant and very proactive. We worked through that. We are working through that to encourage more women in groups who are in group formations to also come on board, to showcase what they can do, to take advantage of the party manifesto, to understand it. And I believe as women we need to understand what the party manifesto is, what the program is, what is the vision of His Excellency, how can we implement it. And then women need to be more courageous. I encourage more women, be courageous, be determined, be bold, be brave. You have something to say, you have something to showcase, you have the capacity. We need to believe in ourselves more. And we volunteer of ourselves. That is what I did. I volunteered. Come forward, show that you can also play a role in this season to leave a legacy. So I would encourage us to expand the scope of who we are collaborating with and bring more women on board. We give our best. Yes.
Madam PS, I find you very bright, articulate, and visionary. 10 years after your service for this government, joining politics or serving the people of this country on another level, but how does the future look for you?
Well, certainly. I believe that the President has given us an opportunity to serve. I am very privileged and very humbled that he has chosen me. After all, we have 53 million other people who could have served, but by the grace of God, he chose me to serve. And I believe that whilst I'm here, I want to give my very best, because like I said earlier, I am a patriot. I believe in Kenya. I believe in what we can do for Kenya. And I believe that there is no reason why we shouldn't be a first world. We have the capacity. We have one of the most highly educated populace in the whole of Africa. We can lead. And if the president in future hopes that I am equal to the task to do more responsibilities, I will happily do it. I will happily serve. I am committed, I am dedicated, I'm resolute, I am focused. So, and I am willing to give the very best. But for now, I would want to participate in the implementation of the plan within the four corners of my State Department. And I have promised that I will not let the president down.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Now, lastly, as a parting shot, of course, the journey from Kawangware to the State Department, that young girl, probably in some remote village, in Kabwe, in Kiambu, there in Lari, or in Kakamega, or that university girl sitting in her hostel today, but watching you articulate in a big office, serving in a big government, what will be that word?
That word is, once you dream it, cling to it and never give up. Stay resolute to the dream that is in your heart. Every day, ask God to give you direction in how you can achieve that dream. Be patient. Rome was not built in a day. Be willing to serve. I believe that I have come here to serve, not to be served. I am a servant of the people. The president expects me to serve my country within the State Department, which is a very critical department. So I'll tell that young girl, be resolute, be razor focused. Do not give up. There will be very many obstacles along the way. That is a fact. But even in spite of those obstacles, be resolute, be razor focused, and pray every single day for God to give you direction, to give you guidance, and do not listen to naysayers. There are people who say all manner of things to dissuade you. Do not be dissuaded. Be a convicted person. Be convinced that your dream is valid, your dream is deliverable. Why is that? Because he who put the dream in you intends to fulfill it. And a case in point is Joseph in the Old Testament. He dreamed to be a leader while he was only a teenager. And see, lo and behold, he did become that leader and saved his people Israel from hunger. So that dream you have, cling on to it. Let it inform the decisions that you make so that you don't get derailed and distracted by other things that are non-essentials.
Asante sana. Cling on your dream. Madam PS, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck from the UDA party.
Thank you very
team.
much.
We realize that you're a visionary leader, and this is a very visionary department that is going to add a lot of value to the success of this government.
Yes.
So from our team, tunasema asante sana. We'll be willing to come some other time, a year, 6 months, 3 months, just to help you spread the good work that you're doing as a department.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to having a subsequent meeting where we can showcase the outcomes of implementing the plan within the State Department of Correctional Services, and we'll have very many positive stories to tell you, to tell all our UDA members. And I encourage, come on board. This is a family. This is a family. We are all at home. Nobody judges us from where, on the basis of our background, where we have come from, or what our tribe is. So all of you are welcome to join the party, and please join. There is space for you to contribute to the development of this country. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gentlemen, sawa sana.
Mtaedit, eh?